What happens when a woman becomes exactly what men say they want? Today, we're talking about Anna Biller's The Love Witch and how the deadliest spell a woman can cast is pretending to be someone else's fantasy. The Love Witch opens with Elaine driving away from San Francisco in a vintage car, all red everything, fleeing the mysterious death of her husband. From the first frame, Biller establishes that this woman is running from something. Through voiceovers and flashbacks, we learn Elaine's father called her stupid, crazy, and fat. Her ex-husband complained about her cooking and housekeeping. She had a nervous breakdown. She found a coven that promised her power through sexuality. Now she's hunting for the perfect man who will finally, truly love her back. But here's where Biller gets cruel in the best way possible. Elaine genuinely believes that if she just performs femininity correctly enough, if she cooks well enough, if she's sexy enough, if she gives men exactly what they want, she'll unlock their capacity for love. She tells her neighbor Trish that men are like children, easy to please as long as you give them what they want. Trish is horrified, accusing Elaine of being brainwashed by the patriarchy. She's not wrong, but Elaine isn't just a victim of patriarchal conditioning, she's weaponizing it. What makes Elaine so compelling is that she's both predator and prey. She's a sympathetic sociopath, as Biller described her, someone whose narcissism and manipulation stem from genuine trauma and a warped psychology. When her first victim, college professor Wayne, starts crying and becoming emotional after they sleep together, Elaine's face goes cold. What a pussy, what a baby, she thinks. She buries him with a witch bottle containing her urine and a used tampon, breaking the fourth wall to tell us tampons aren't gross. Women bleed and that's a beautiful thing. Do you know that most men have never even seen a used tampon? This moment is peak Biller. She's reclaiming menstruation as power while simultaneously showing us that Elaine is completely detached from the consequences of her actions. The film walks this tightrope constantly, celebrating female sexuality and feminine aesthetics while critiquing how women are taught to perform them. Elaine drips with glamour, her apartment decorated in symbolic colors from the Thoth tarot deck, her wardrobe a psychedelic dream of vintage dresses and lingerie. She looks like she stepped out of a 1960s horror movie because Biller shot the entire film on 35mm to recreate that exact aesthetic. But underneath all that beauty is a woman who's been so thoroughly damaged by male expectations that she can't exist without them. The men in The Love Witch are pathetic, and that's the point. Wayne becomes a sobbing mess who dies from emotional overload. Richard, Trish's husband, becomes so obsessed with Elaine that he commits suicide when she rejects him. Even Griff, the square-jawed detective who should be the strong man Elaine craves, can't reciprocate her love because his moral code is stronger than her seduction. These men prove Biller's thesis. Men are actually more emotional than women, but they suppress those feelings so completely that when the dam breaks, it destroys them. Biller based this idea on relationship self-help books that told women their love was too much, that they were smothering their partners with affection. She thought that was insane, so she made a movie where women's love literally kills men. It's funny until it's tragic because what Elaine wants is impossible. She wants a man who can be both strong and vulnerable, who can love her intensely without falling apart, who can see her as fully human instead of a fantasy. But the film shows us that as long as Elaine is performing a role, she'll never be seen as real. The most important relationship in the film isn't between Elaine and any man. It's between Elaine and Trish. Trish represents the other type of woman, the one who doesn't perform extreme femininity, who puts herself first, who tries to maintain boundaries. But Trish's husband still chooses Elaine's blank sexuality image over his real wife. Later, when Trish discovers her husband's affair, she goes to Elaine's apartment and tries on her wig, clothes, and makeup. She almost loses herself trying to become what stole her man. Biller calls Trish the hero of the film because she manages to pull herself back. She realizes that becoming Elaine won't save her, but both women are trapped. Elaine can get any man by looking how she does and pleasing them, but none of them are worth it because they objectify her, leaving no space for her to grow or self-actualize. Trish is more secure in herself and isn't performing, but her husband still betrays her for a fantasy. As Biller says, a single woman has so many dimensions within her. We're not like these stereotypes that men make of us, yet those stereotypes keep winning. The film's aesthetic choices aren't just pretty window dressing. Biller deliberately evokes 1960s Technicolor horror and Italian giallo films, because those genres were obsessed with depicting female sexuality as dangerous and alluring. But instead of shooting from the male gaze, Biller gives us the female narcissistic gaze, a concept from Simone de Beauvoir about how women objectify themselves to conform to male desire. When we see Elaine in her elaborate costumes and perfect makeup, we're not supposed to desire her sexually. We're supposed to desire to be her, to have her power and beauty. This is why the film looks the way it does. Biller spent 6 months making Elaine's pentagram rug by hand. She designed and sewed most of the costumes herself. She decorated the sets with objects that feel female: lace doilies, tea sets, handbags, false eyelashes, curtains, pillows. Not because women are domestic, but because these are the things that excite her, that create visual pleasure for women watching. The film is dripping in feminine fantasy, and that's deliberate. Biller wants us to feel seduced by Elaine's world, even as we watch it destroy her. The Love Witch ends with Elaine stabbing Griff to death after he tries to arrest her. As she clutches the bloody Athame to her chest, she smiles, imagining a fantasy wedding where Griff declares his love and rides away with her on a unicorn. She's completely lost touch with reality. Her pursuit of love has driven her to psychosis, and the film leaves her there, frozen in delusion. This ending is brutal because it confirms what we've been watching the whole time. Elaine's strategy was always doomed to fail. You can't find authentic love by performing a role. You can't unlock someone's capacity to love you by giving them their fantasy. And most importantly, you can't build your entire identity around being desired without losing yourself completely. So what does the Love Witch actually say about love, femininity, and power? It says that the game is rigged. Elaine and Trish represent two different approaches to femininity, and neither works. The men are emotionally stunted and can't handle real intimacy. The society that created these gender roles keeps everyone trapped in impossible expectations. But Biller doesn't offer easy solutions. She doesn't say femininity is inherently empowering or inherently oppressive. She shows it as contradictory, confusing, and sometimes deadly. The Love Witch works because it refuses to be simple. It's a celebration of feminine aesthetics and a critique of feminine performance. It's sympathetic to Elaine while showing her as a genuine monster. It's visually gorgeous while being thematically dark. And it asks us to sit with the discomfort of recognizing ourselves in Elaine, even just a little bit. Because who among us hasn't performed a version of ourselves to be loved? Who hasn't molded themselves to fit someone else's fantasy? Who hasn't wanted so badly to be chosen that we forgot to choose ourselves? This is Ladies First, watching women in movies. Here, we empower women by reviewing and discussing films that highlight their stories, struggles, and achievements. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments.